Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. Today is Thursday, and I'm glad you're with us. We got a really great show lined up for you with a special guest. We want to get started looking at our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center. The high today is 59 with a low tonight of 42. Mostly cloudy with a 20% chance of rain. Of course, you know, we got some rain coming probably for the next couple of days, which is a big surprise. Wind's going to be coming out of the north at about 10. Of course, that depends on where you're standing at the time. Now, I want to add a little bit something to it here because the days are starting to get a little bit longer. Sunrise, the official sunrise is at 6:35 with sunset at 5:15. So you can stay on the water a little longer. You can stay in a tree stand a little bit longer. It's starting to lengthen out. High tide is 11:57 p.m. with the low tide at 8:08 a.m. The tide's brought to us, of course, by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home. Looking at the peak fishing and hunting times, we missed the first one, 2:12 to 4:12 this morning, but this afternoon really good, 2:45 to 4:45, and with the sun setting a little bit later, and that's an excellent time, that 2-hour period to be out on the water or in the stand. River readings. Apalachicola is at a cool 19 feet and really holding pretty steady. Choctaw is at 12 feet and it's fairly steady. So be careful if you're running around the river. It's a lot of stuff's floating that wasn't floating before, and you can get surprised in a big hurry there. Now, Jeff, before we take this break, I want to take the opportunity to, Winston was busy today, couldn't be here. But I don't know how many, how many of you know, but Winston is retiring this year, or coach, as many of you call him, and he was nominated for the Teacher of the Year award. And I think there's about 40 nominations, and then the voting, and he was in the top 5. And all I can say is it's about time. But Winston, as many of you know, started the outdoor education class, and he has reached literally hundreds, if not thousands, of kids and given them the opportunity to be, exposed or introduced to fishing and hunting and camping, outdoors in general, that many of them wouldn't have had the opportunity to. So it's something he's very proud of and should be very proud of, and he's going to be sorely missed when he retires. So let's go ahead and take this break. We'll be right back with a special guest. Welcome back. I am joined by a good friend, Mr. Ken Paramore this morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm still not used to not seeing you in uniform, you know.
I'm not either. After 35 years, I think it's like, I don't know, you don't feel right for a while.
You get up, first thing you do is go get uniform,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
That's it.
Every day, every night.
Thanks for joining us. We're going to talk a little bit. We're going to talk turkey this morning, if you will.
We are. We're going to talk.
But I think you wanted to.
National Wild Turkey Federation. But before I do that, you touched on something a minute ago that I think I'd like to expound on, because kind of like you, I've been involved with this program, for a number of years since Winston got going, and Winston is always giving back, and is always on and behind this set talking about all of us. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the history of the area, the fishing, and I just wanted to say that maybe one of these days that we'll get in Winston's chair and we'll put Winston over here and we'll talk about the life and times of Winston Chester.
He'd never allow us to do that.
And give him a little benefit that he so deserves. And I can tell you, Winston, when you see this show that it's rough when you leave, but you're going to enjoy it when you're done and retired. But congratulations on getting the top 5 Teacher of the Year nomination, because that's quite an achievement and a tribute to the character and the person that you are to get those kids going in the right directions, particularly in their senior year. So kudos to Winston.
It is and has been the most popular class at Mosley forever.
Yep.
And you know, you throw the word around, you know, passion for certain things, you know, whether it's fishing or hunting, but Winston truly does. He truly has a passion for outdoors and introducing people, you know, to things. And how many people who have gone through, you may know this better than I do, I know a few, but how many people have gone through his class and they've gone on to be captains, they've gone on to be FWC officers?
Several.
You know, there's been
That
several.
That worked for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Yep.
Congratulations, Winston.
Congratulations, Winston.
He's a great guy and a good friend.
Yep, absolutely.
I've really have known for way too many years. We go back to, we were teammates at one time, so that'll tell you how long ago that was.
That is true, yeah.
So, not here for FWC, but let's talk turkey.
Let's do it. As you all know, I got involved with the National Wild Turkey Federation, myself and Stan Kirkland, after we retired, and we started a local chapter of the National Wild Turkey Federation, which is, we named the Bay County Longbeards. And as a lot of you know, we had a banquet last August, and it was a very successful banquet.
It was a blast.
And we had a ball. I had more fun that night. I had never been to a turkey banquet, and I didn't know what they were like, and I never participated in any live auction stuff, and we had a ball.
So you decided to start with scratch.
Yeah, and I left there with my wallet a lot lighter than it was when I got there. But irregardless, we had and I've talked about this before, but we fed about 175 people, and the chapter raised a little over $33,000 gross, and we netted a little over $16,000 that was free and clear.
Yeah.
So between what we raised during the auctions, we paid the bills, we paid the food, we ended up netting a little over $16,000 to go to turkey habitat, turkey restoration, and in the local state of Florida.
Yeah. It was a blast. The food was great. We had a great time. We're gonna visit this a little bit more. Let's take this first break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Now, you know, Ken, this was that was late August, right?
Right.
And years ago, if I remember correctly, there was a turkey organization here, but it kind of fell apart a long time ago.
My understanding that there was one, and they come and go nationwide, it seems. Some and I'll get into a state convention I went to last Saturday night, but in hearing the discussions among some of the chapters that were there, and talking with our regional director, that for different reasons, whether it be the leadership of the chapter, the makeup of the chapter, or the areas that they hold them in, or you know, lack of interest. Recessions don't help them, obviously,
right,
when you're asking for money and people are trying to, you know, feed their families and been laid off from work and whatever. But chapters have and do come and go in different areas and different counties. Most are successful. Most kind of hold their own. Some really excel, and others just get by with one banquet year to year, which was our first one. But our vision is to do other things throughout the year once we get our feet on the ground and get to kind of hopefully knowing what we're doing, to do some fundraisers in between, whether it be
keep people's interest,
right,
continue the education about it.
Right. And don't get me wrong, Stan and I didn't do this by ourselves. You know, we had a committee that helped us. We formed a committee, but more importantly, the viewers and the people who attended and signed up for memberships and donated items for auction and came to the thing is what made this one successful. And as a matter of fact, they made it so successful.
You brought some hardware with you
Yeah,
this morning.
unbeknownst to me, there was I knew about there's a national convention, and then the states have conventions. And the state convention was last Saturday night in Gainesville. And anybody who's in the state chapters can go to the state convention. And they give out awards for what's been done in the state.
Mm-hmm.
Well, lo and behold, my wife and I went to the banquet, and they started handing out awards, and unbeknownst to me, they started calling Bay County Longbeards out, not one, but 3 times. So I accepted awards on our behalf by being in or at the banquet. One of them was for the best first-time banquet of 2015. So of all the chapter banquets held in the state that were first-time banquets, ours got first place for being the best banquet. We achieved first place in the highest net income, meaning after expenses were paid for the amount of 100 to 150 attendees that we had in that category. We came in first place in netting, because sometimes you just kind of break even when you do one if you're not careful, because a lot of times the meals and the catering are expensive,
Yeah.
or the facility that you have to rent is expensive. And so we got first place in the highest net that we over and above expenses. And then the third one was an achievement we signed up over 100 members. So that was 100 new memberships to NWTF for the next year.
That's pretty strong.
Yeah, for the first time deal. So we walked away with some hardware, which was great. And again, thanks to the people who came and helped. We couldn't have done it alone. And we want to continue to do it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's something, I brought basically my whole family
Yep.
to, and I'm a member, along with my sons and my grandsons. We signed them up,
Yep.
wife and daughter-in-law as well,
Oh,
and it was just. There was a lot of great stuff there, that the Turkey Foundation has, a lot of things that were donated. I know I came away with a couple of great knives. I've been on this knife kick now for a while. And I think in the silent auction is where I got those. And but it was you can bring your whole family.
Sure you can.
It was fun. You're there with some like-minded people. And I think one thing that is always asked is, you were able to raise this money, you were able to raise awareness and get people. How's that money used?
The money is put into what they call a super fund, but it stays in the state.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they try to reinvest or appropriate the monies to public land, like our management areas.
Right.
Because it's a nationwide organization. Their goals is to increase hunting opportunity and acquire more hunting land. Actually, I think their goal is for the next 10 years is to try to acquire 500,000 acres more.
Wow.
Across the country, what's available now. That's the biggest problem with turkey populations is we're losing, the turkey population they think is down about 15% nationwide. And they think it's due to loss of habitat.
Yeah.
They also think it's because of, if hunters don't have a place to go, they're not going to hunt and buy things that have to do with hunting, which funds conservation. So we need to try to build up our hunters, and we need to try to build up land acquisition. But back to your point there, if we can raise awareness and raise participation, the monies that are net monies go back into turkey habitat restoration, and on public lands could be anywhere from bush hogging, control burning.
Right.
Food plots, they can be done, but they're more feel good and just for the moment, and then they kind of go there, and they're expensive, you know.
True.
You know, the more expensive. Burning is the best for, from what I've learned, and the cheapest to keep habitat. They don't like thick habitat.
Right.
They like open habitat. The only places they like it thick is if they fly up somewhere to roost, and then they fly out to open places. You know, they like to be able to see. And when the turkey's nest, the poults, they need to be in an open place where when they hatch, they hit the ground, and I mean they're off with mama. So the monies go back into, to answer your question, habitat restoration throughout whatever the states they're raised in, and they work with, in this case, they work with FWC biologists on these different wildlife management areas throughout the state. You know, they spread the wealth.
Yeah.
And they try to improve turkey habitat.
That's fantastic. All right, let's go take this break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. All right, Ken, we were just discussing offline a little bit, but spring turkey's coming up.
Spring turkey will be here before we know it. I believe it's March the 19th or 20th, whichever that Saturday is of
Yeah,
that
I don't have
weekend.
my phone with me, but I think that's
I didn't look at the calendar, but the week prior to that is our youth hunt as well.
which
and
is
that's
under 15, right?
Yeah, you can take someone under 15 and participate with them. They do the turkey taking, but you can call and all that. You need to have a hunting license. But to run about 6 weeks, and hopefully we'll have some good hunting weather.
Now, part of the membership is this. You get this great magazine that comes
Right.
with it every month.
It's a magazine called Turkey Country that it's a pretty good. It's well put together magazine.
It is. It's got a lot of good tips in it and stuff.
There's
For folks out there interested, I mean, like between banquets, how can you join? How much is it to join?
it's $35, excuse me, for a year. And right now there is a promotion going on. If you sign up online, they will not only do you get the membership benefits, but they send you a $25 Bass Pro Shop gift card, which you can take to Bass Pro and buy something for $25.
There's
So
the deal.
the membership in that case would be $10 a year is what it costs you. We, the National Wild Turkey Federation, is trying to increase membership. That's the bread and butter. That's how you get the monies for these projects. And they also have different levels. There's sponsorship levels, diamond and corporate, and I mean, they'll take your money, and would love to have your money. But the memberships are only $35 for a year. If let's just say you're a member when a banquet comes, and you don't want to renew right then, or you're not due to renew, let's say. Well, you can renew right then, help out the banquet proceeds. They just add 12 months to your current membership.
Yeah.
So it just keeps
it's a
going.
good deal.
So there's no loss of, well, my membership's not up, or until, and I don't want to renew right now. But we're going to need probably some volunteers. We're probably going to need some help from the community with our auction items in the next few months.
Donations of things, right?
Right. The Turkey Federation brings an auction package every year. Matter of fact, there's an awesome auction package online right now for the stuff that's coming to the 16 banquets.
Mm-hmm.
But any articles or donations that we get to auction at the auction, the proceeds are 100%, as
Sure.
opposed to the NWTF auction package. Well, that cost. I mean,
There's a cost.
Sure. There's a cost. So you net, but there's people we've got lined up, hopefully, that will have custom-made box calls donated and things donated that we can. And we're trying to include things that include women. Whether it be a day at a spa, or more and more women are getting into hunting.
Absolutely.
They auctioned off a woman's bow at the state convention just the other night. And all you had to do was put $10 in a bucket and get a raffle card.
Yeah.
So, and the bow is a $600 bow or something.
Yeah, the raffles. I mean, there were a lot of guns. There were Yeti coolers. I mean, there were all kinds of things. I mean, it's
And we're
really
gonna have
nice
more of
things.
that.
It was turkey hunting is it's kind of a specialized sport.
And that's what we discussed with our regional directors about membership or participants, because, you know, it's not like, you know, the deer hunting populace is a lot larger, or the bass fishermen, but it's for hunters, it's for habitat. You don't have to be a turkey hunter to be a member.
Sure.
And we have women in the outdoor program, and we have wheeling sportsmen
Yeah.
within the NWTF. So we're going to be trying to do some things. We may not get it done before the next banquet, but if we keep this thing going in between, we want to try to do some fundraisers.
Sure.
And that will help the chapters. Even if you have to go out and buy more auction items rather than get them donated. So we're just trying to get our feet wet right now.
Yeah, well, you know, and for, I guess, an inaugural or an initial banquet, it was obviously it was a huge success. Like I said, it was a lot of fun, and you know, the magazine and being around people with like interests. You know, if you're helping the habitat for the turkeys, deer are going to benefit from that. Other things will benefit. Quail, come to mind, will benefit from that. So it's really a worthwhile cause. It's a lot of fun. The banquets, you know, is a blast. There's a lot to learn, and it's just, you know, it was a pleasure being there and being a part of it. I really enjoyed it.
Real quick, there's a National Wild Turkey National Convention next month, February 11th through the 14th in Nashville, Tennessee. I've talked to people who've gone. I've never gone. This is going to be my first time. But the people I've talked to said it is one of the largest conventions with anything to do with the outdoors and hunting and fishing in the country. And in Nashville, it should be a good time.
Ken, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Always
a pleasure.
Listen, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. And Winston will be back tomorrow. Have a great day.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.